kindly people of YouTube, Punk Rock Fairy Princess here, and let's talk about something controversial. Actually, no, I hope this isn't a controversial topic, otherwise that would be messed up. Romantic or sexual relationships between high school students and their teachers are a reasonably common trope in teen shows. You see them in shows like Glee, Gossip Girl, Pretty Little Liars, and most recently in Riverdale. And I think that the positive, star-crossed lovers way that they're portrayed in these shows is dangerous to the young audiences towards which these shows are marketed. For example, take Arya and Ezra in Pretty Little Liars. When they first meet, Arya is in grade 11, so she's like 16 or 17 years old, and Ezra is about to start his first teaching job at Arya's high school, and so he's like in his early 20s. We find out in a later season that he actually knows who she is when they meet, which that's for reasons that are not important to this video. So even though he pretended he was meeting her for the first time and didn't know anything about her, he knew who she was, he knew her age, and he knew that she was a student at the school where he was gonna start teaching later that week. And although you can't really call this grooming per se, I think that his initiating a relationship before she knew he was going to be her teacher is definitely him manipulating her perception of him into thinking they could have a sexual or romantic relationship. I mean, it's just so creepy that a 20-something-year-old could fall in love with a 16-year-old. I mean, maybe she's a particularly mature 16-year-old and you don't see her as a child. Yes, that scene was fucking creepy when I rewatched it earlier this week.
I asked you here because I don't see you as a child.
Oh boy. But there's just so much difference in maturity and experience and everything else that a relationship needs, not to mention the power disparity. Actually, no, the power disparity is super important. I'm not sure about the laws in the States, but I know that the laws in Canada say that consent cannot be given if there is a significant power difference between the two people, and that the person with less power could be coerced into a sexual relationship because of this power disparity. And so, if, like, that plus the age difference, already super creepy relationship. Riverdale, on the other hand, I think handles the situation better, which, I mean, here, we're talking positively about Riverdale here, guys. I've only seen the first season, so. Anyway, Riverdale handles this type of relationship better, I think, because it portrays Miss Grundy as, like, an actual predator, which she is, because when you first see her, the flashback scene when she basically initiates this relationship with Archie, you see her driving by, she's got her heart sunglasses on, and she, like, checks him out, she sees his abs, she's like, damn, which, creepy. And when she asks if he wants a ride, there is no innocence in that question. She knows what she wants, and she's pretty sure she can get it, and that's creepy as fuck. And this different portrayal is especially seen at the end of their relationship in, like, episode 4, I think, when she leaves town. You see her, like, she's got all her stuff packed in the car, she's got her heart sunglasses on again, so you know some parallels are gonna happen. And she sees these two high schoolers walk by, and she checks them out over her, like, sunglasses, and you're like, oh shit. She's a predator, and you're like, damn straight she's a predator. This portrayal of Miss Grundy's interest in Archie is not as much misguided love as, you know, sexual and creepy shit like that. But Riverdale isn't entirely innocent in this, as Riverdale never really is, because the scene where, like, Archie's parents find out, the way it's, like, shot and the way the music swells and stuff, there's some serious star-crossed lovers, tragic romance going on right there. Now, some of you might say, oh, it's just a show, they're just characters, it's not real life, but these situations do happen in real life. A study in 1993 found that 9.6% of students from kindergarten to grade 12 in the US have been victims of sexual misconduct from an educator. That's over 4.5 million kids. And of course, not all of these were sexual assault, and not all of these were continuous sexual relationships, but that's still a staggering statistic. And having these relationships portrayed in a positive light in a show aimed at younger teen viewers could make them see this kind of relationship as okay. I first started watching Pretty Little Liars when I was like 13 or 14 years old, and I was a hardcore Ezria shipper. They were one of my favorite ships on the show, and I didn't see anything wrong with it. I saw it as a star-crossed relationship, you know, a Romeo and Juliet situation where her parents don't approve. And every time a character in the show would criticize the relationship...
Dude, you are so screwed.
It's not what you think it is. Don't give me that look. I didn't pursue this, it just happened.
And that makes it okay?
Hardy?
What, Ezra? She's cute. She's smart. I get it. There's no argument. But she's your student, man.
That's not how it better.
It doesn't matter. When this is all over, she's gonna get her diploma, you're gonna get a pink slip and an orange jumpsuit.
Followed you to his car.
You rode on the window.
I should have thrown a rock.
What did you see?
Enough to figure out why you act so squirrely around him. What did he promise you to get you in that car? I'll go to the principal with you.
Principal?
You can take this guy down for what he made you do.
No.
They can put him in jail.
No, stop. It's not like that.
I'd be like, oh, but they're in love, you know? It's fine, and all that type of shit. And from what I've read, like, on Reddit and Tumblr about other Pretty Little Liar fans, I'm not the only one who felt that way. Only upon rewatching Pretty Little Liars as an 18-year-old did I realize how illegal and messed up their relationship is and how much Ezra manipulates Arya throughout the show. An important concept I came across while researching for this video is the sexual script theory. This theory suggests that people draw upon cultural expectations of appropriate behavior when interpreting and reacting to sexual situations. People rely on these scripts to make sense of various sexual behaviors, including their own. These scripts are formed out of a combination of cultural expectations, personal experiences, as well as differences depending on a person's gender or sexual socialization. And if these types of relationships continue to be portrayed in a positive light in shows aimed at a younger teen audience, then these relationships could become more normalized. And that's dangerous. The last thing we need is a 13 or 14-year-old getting ready to start high school thinking that being in a relationship with a teacher, as long as they're fairly young-ish and attractive, is fine as long as you don't tell your parents. Not only that, it's romantic. You're star-crossed lovers. You're like your favorite couple. You're like your OTP. And I'm not against ignoring important hard topics in teen shows. In fact, I think it's a great idea for shows to tackle difficult topics in real life. I appreciate it when shows address topics like mental health, or racism, or homophobia, and in this case, toxic relationships, and statutory rape. That's fine, but you actually have to address the topics. You can't just be like, yep, this is a thing. This thing happens in real life, but we're not going to say anything about it. It's just going to be here. We're not going to address it, but it's okay because it happens in real life too. I think that one of the underlying issues of why these relationships are accepted on TV is because the actors cast for teenagers are never actually teenagers. They're always like in their 20s or even their 30s. Ian Harding, who plays Ezra, and Lucy Hale, who plays Arya, are only 3 years apart. And that's why their relationship on TV doesn't seem as weird, because they're basically the same age. If they did it in real life, it'd be totally fine. But in the show, they're almost 10 years apart. So I guess if shows really wanted to address these types of things and show how messed up these types of relationships are, they should cast properly aged actors for their characters. So in conclusion, I think that the way teacher-student relationships are portrayed in shows aimed at younger teens are potentially very harmful to the way teens see relationships in real life. If relationships that in real life would be harmful and toxic are portrayed in a romanticized light in shows, then teens and like young children could start to see these things as okay in real life. As we all know, art reflects life and life reflects art. Anyway, thank you for watching me rant for a while. I finished Riverdale a little while ago and have been recently rewatching Pretty Little Liars, and this topic was just really annoying me. Let me know in the comments about your opinion on this topic or other shows that have these types of relationships that I missed. Yeah, thank you for watching. See y'all next time. Bye!